Do you want to pass TOEFL in 2025? Well, of course you do. So let's cut to the chase. Here's how you do it. Learn from your mistakes. Wait. I know that learning from your mistakes sounds simple, but let me explain. In today's class, I'll show you some of the biggest mistakes TOEFL test takers make in each section of the test, how you can avoid them, and reveal to you how learning from your mistakes will help you pass TOEFL in 2025. Before we get started, download the free E2 2025 TOEFL Study Pack. It includes a test checklist, test overview, study plan, test tips, and bonus practice questions for each section. To download it, click the link in the description or comments. Let's start by looking at one of the biggest TOEFL speaking mistakes test takers make. For some questions and tasks in the speaking section, you have a limited window, just 45 to 60 seconds, to showcase your spoken English proficiency. That's not a lot of time, so making every second count is crucial. A well-structured answer is your key to success, but many test takers stumble when it comes to structuring their speaking responses effectively, and this becomes a fatal mistake. So what exactly does a structured answer entail? You need a clear opinion, strong reasons, and examples. Think of it like building a house. You need a solid foundation, clear framework, and all the pieces fitting together seamlessly. Your answer should guide the marker effortlessly through your ideas. This means a clear and logical flow with distinct sections that work together to convey your message effectively. For example, starting with an introduction, then reason 1, followed by example 1, then reason 2, and example 2, and finally the conclusion. Let's see this in action with a sample question. Here's a typical independent speaking task you might encounter. The task says, some students prefer to live on campus. Others prefer to live off campus. Which option do you think is better for university students and why? Include details and examples in your explanation. Here's a quick tip to help you with this task. Consider the pros and cons of each option and think of personal examples that you can use for your response. Okay, take a moment to pause the video and formulate your own response before we move on to a good and bad example answer. How did you go? Hopefully you did well. Now let's see an example of a well-structured response. I believe that living on campus is a better option for university students. There are 2 reasons why I feel this way. Firstly, living on campus allows for a more immersive and convenient university experience. Students can easily access campus facilities, participate in extracurricular activities, and have more opportunities to meet people and make friends. For instance, a student living on campus can easily walk to the library to study late at night or join a sports team without worrying about transport or time constraints. Secondly, living on campus can help students develop essential life skills such as independence, responsibility, and time management. Sharing living spaces with others, managing their own schedules, and taking care of their daily needs can prepare them for life after graduation. For example, a student living on campus may need to learn to cook their own meals, do their own laundry, and resolve conflicts with roommates, all of which are valuable skills that can be applied in various aspects of life. In conclusion, while living off campus may offer some benefits, such as lower costs or more living space, the convenience, the access to campus resources, and the opportunity to develop important life skills make living on campus a better choice for university students. Now let's contrast that with a poorly structured response. Take a look at this part of the response. It says, I think living on campus is better. It's more convenient, and you can be closer to classes and the library. You also get to meet more people and make more friends. Living off campus is too far away, and it can be expensive. Notice the difference? The first response is organized, detailed, and easy to follow. The second response is vague, lacks supporting evidence, and does not demonstrate a strong command of English. Let me know in the comments which response yours was closer to. And remember, a well-structured answer can significantly boost your score. Let's now look at one of the biggest TOEFL writing mistakes test takers make. Can you guess what the mistake is? Well, to put it simply, one of the biggest mistakes here is struggling to provide a well-organized, coherent response. Some of the benefits of good organization are improved clarity and coherence and enhanced logical flow, making it easier for the marker to follow. Again, a structured answer is your best friend. It allows you to showcase your writing skills and present your ideas coherently. Think of your writing task as a mini essay. It needs a thesis statement clearly stating your opinion, and it needs supporting information. Let's examine a writing for an academic discussion task. Here's the prompt. Here we see the instructions which tell you, your professor is teaching a class on education. Write a post responding to the professor's question. In your response, you should express and support your opinion and make a contribution to the discussion. An effective response will contain at least 100 words. The professor's question mentioned in the instruction is contained in this block of text. A brief summary of this is that the professor is talking about the use of technology in schools. More specifically, the professor raises the question whether smartphones should be allowed in class. The professor's question is followed by responses given by two students, here and here. This will provide you with additional background information to help you construct your answer. Pause the video and try your hand at writing a response, or keep watching for a good and bad example. How did you go? Let's look at a well-structured response first. Here it is. The thesis statement clearly and concisely states the writer's point of view. It says, I agree with Sally that smartphones can be a major distraction in class. Then there's the first point. While they do provide students with easy access to information, most students will end up using their phones for entertainment rather than learning. And that's supported with an example. For example, they may spend time on social media or messaging apps instead of paying attention to the lesson or completing assignments. Then that's backed up with details of the effects of this. This can lead to a decrease in their academic performance and a disruption to the learning environment for other students. Then there's the second point. Secondly, smartphones in class can encourage academic dishonesty, making it easier for students to cheat on tests and assignments. And that's supported with an explanation. With instant access to search engines, messaging apps, and even AI tools, students can quickly look up answers or share them with classmates instead of relying on their own knowledge. And here's a response that misses the mark. Smartphones should not be allowed in classrooms. They are distracting and can be used for cheating. Students might play games or text their friends instead of paying attention to the teacher. The 2 points about distraction and cheating are given together, and then there's support for the first point after mentioning the second, and no support for the second point. Which response is yours more similar to? Let me know in the comments. And be sure to download the free 2025 E2 TOEFL Study Pack. Download it now by clicking the link in the description. Now let's turn our attention to the TOEFL listening and the biggest mistake test takers make. A pretty common mistake here is that test takers get bogged down in minor details and missing the main idea or gist of the conversation or lecture. While some questions require you to listen for specific details, others assess your ability to grasp the overall purpose or message. Failing to identify the gist can be a costly mistake. For example, here's a gist purpose task, and here's a question. What is the main purpose of the lecture? Now, the main idea or gist is really important in this type of question because the speaker often doesn't directly state the purpose. Instead, you need to infer the purpose from their tone, language, and the overall message. Here are some examples of tone and language clues that can help identify the speaker's purpose. They may speak with an enthusiastic tone, they might use persuasive language, or they might use rhetorical questions. Now listen to this excerpt of the audio and specifically listen out for the speaker's tone. See if you can work out the answer.
The World Wildlife Fund recently published a report showing that in the last 40 years, we have slashed our global marine life in half. Fish numbers are seriously declining, and fishing is no longer sustainable. At the same time, our human population keeps growing, putting more pressure on the oceans. Today, we have 7 billion people on the planet, and by 2050, there will be 9.7 billion of us. Now, let's back up for a moment and talk about why fish is an important food choice for humans. It's healthy, it prevents heart disease, provides key amino acids and key fatty acids like omega-3s, which is very different from almost any other type of meat. Currently, 2.6 billion people depend on fish every single day. So our problem is, how can we continue to eat fish when we are increasingly threatening its very existence? Renowned photographer, conservationist, and oceanographer Jacques Cousteau proposed a solution more than 50 years ago when he said, "We must start using the ocean as farmers instead of hunters. That's what civilization is all about, farming instead of hunting." And he was right. Today, fish is the last food source that we hunt. All others are farmed. We must move to more sustainable farming of fish.
Did you get the answer? So the answer is D, to encourage the use of environmentally friendly fishing practices. We can hear it when the speaker says this.
We must move to more sustainable farming of fish.
So as you could hear and see, the speaker is encouraging the use of environmentally friendly fishing practices. They don't clearly state that they're encouraging the use of environmentally friendly fishing practices, but we can tell through their encouraging tone and language like must. If you'd like to try another TOEFL listening practice task, download the free E2 2025 TOEFL Study Pack. Finally, let's tackle one of the biggest mistakes test takers make in the TOEFL reading section. In TOEFL reading, inference questions are considered one of the most challenging tasks and where test takers make mistakes. These questions require you to understand implicit meanings and draw logical conclusions based on the information provided. The answer won't be directly stated in the passage, but it will be supported by the evidence presented. So you need to look for clues and hints within the text to support your inferences. Here's an example. The question asks, from paragraph 2, it can be inferred that a mass extinction, and the options are A, coincides with carbon cycling, B, is due, C, can wipe out fish species, D, is common. Pause the video and see if you can infer the correct answer. How did you go? Did you get it right? Let me know in the comments. Let's now look at the answer. So the correct answer is A, coincides with carbon cycling. The passage states that mass extinction events involve disruptions in carbon cycling and are coincident with the widespread extermination of species. This implies that mass extinctions occur alongside changes in carbon cycling. We can also see through elimination it's not B, C, or D. Final tips. So as you've seen, these are just some of the most common mistakes test takers make. During your test preparation, you too will also make mistakes, but that's okay. Make sure you take time to stop, analyze where you went wrong, and improve so you don't make that mistake again. Some of you may be thinking, I make so many mistakes, it's going to take forever to look at each mistake. Well, let me explain. Imagine you've taken a TOEFL practice test and you've got half the questions and responses correct. As we can see, there's definitely some room for improvement. Now, it may seem like it'll take too long to go over incorrect questions to work out what went wrong for each. But imagine if you don't do that. You'll keep doing practice questions or take another practice test and get the same results, and you'll just keep going like that forever without seeing much of a difference. But if you tackle each mistake one by one, you'll be sure to improve, and that'll save you time in the long run. Now, if you're wanting to fast track your TOEFL test preparation and pass your test as soon as possible, head over to e2language.com and sign up to one of E2's TOEFL courses, which includes practice tests, mock tests, live classes, tutorials, and more. You won't regret it. And remember, if you're needing to get started with your TOEFL test preparation, download our free TOEFL 2025 study pack. To download, click the link in the description or comments. And that's it for this lesson. Please let me know in the comments if you've made any TOEFL mistakes before and how you can improve or have improved from them. Good luck with your TOEFL preparation in 2025 and see you next time.